Hi, all. I got the new Kirkland Helles Lager made by Deschutes. Nice that it says it right on there. Deschutes also made a Kirkland Vintage Bourbon Barrel Stout. So I think I did a review of that. So what's cool about this is it tells you right on there that this was entered in the Great American Beer Festival as Prince Crispy by Deschutes before it became Kirkland's lager, and it won gold medal for Helles Munich style Helles lager. Which, if someone says Helles lager, that's what they mean. It's basically like a pilsner, but not as dry and hoppy. Sometimes Helleses have a little bit of Munich malt in it, a little bit of a slightly more amber malt, a little toastier. Yeah, and this one's made at Deschutes. It's 4.5% alcohol. I think it was released last fall. The best by date is a long ways away, September 18th. So I assume it's fresh enough. I do like this style a lot, and I like that it's only 4.5%. Very pale and very clear, and this glass is surprisingly not very clean. And ooh, pours with a nice head there. There you go. Kirkland hasn't really gone for a house brand beer in a long time. They used to have a Kirkland Light that is kind of infamous. I guess they stopped doing it in 2018, but the one time I had my friend get it when I went to Costco with him like a long time ago, I was like, let's get this instead of Miller Lite. It was so cheap. It was less than less than 50 cents a can or something. Well under that. It was bad. It was like one of the worst. One of the worst light beers out there. I think it has a 2 on Untapped. So there you go. And it looks basically filtered. Tiny, a few little tiny particulates in there. And well carbonated. Yeah, head's looking not bad. Doesn't have a big aroma. It's definitely not very hoppy. Some craft Helleses end up being kind of like Pilsners. This one, it does have it does have a hoppy aroma to it. Just a little bit. It does have a nice toasty malt thing to it. This is not like a macro style, it seems. This is going for actual good quality German lager. Crackery, slightly herbal, not caramel sweetness, but sort of like baguette crust breadiness. Almost Nilla wafer type thing. Almost a vanilla malt sweetness, not quite there. Yeah, quite dry. And a 12 pack of this is $14, which definitely undercuts the craft lagers out there. Yeah, there are a lot of breweries that kind of are making basic lagers, but usually, at least in my area, they don't get underneath $15 a 12 pack. So this is quite nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just a little bit more body and a little bit more sweetness than like a light lager. Much better flavor. Lots of baguette crusty toastiness, and a little bit of sweetness. It follows the aroma. Ultra clean, super duper clean, very very clean, like that. Very drinkable. Just a little bit of a peppery hop thing. Yeah, there's no sulfur, no fruitiness. Like the yeast was fermented very successfully, or the yeast fermented the beer very successfully. Yeah, almost gonna be a little bit sweeter. um, Maybe there's I don't want to say hint of corniness, but just a hint of graininess now I'm noticing. So maybe it's not that fully clean. I don't know. I mean, you should get a graininess, but I have tasted in some beers that this grainy off flavor. I forget the name of it, the chemical name. I did a off flavor sample kit, where I tried this grainy flavor added to PBR. Maybe there's a teeny bit of that in this. A little bit of muskiness in the aroma now. But quite clean. And yeah, just a slight little malt sweetness. Maybe this is pretty cold. Maybe I'll notice a little bit more sweetness, but yeah, it's not quite like some of my favorite craft Helles lagers. But at half the price as most of those, it's pretty good. I would definitely buy this again. Hopefully, it's not just like one batch and they have only that batch around here for 6 months or a year or something. Because I'd love to get a bunch of this in the summertime. And there's some bitterness. Actually, surprisingly, now it's getting some good black peppery bitterness and spiciness. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's not quite as clean as I was thinking at first. Still quite drinkable. But I don't know if I'd give it much more than a 4. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like 4.05. Um, but worth the value. Bye.